Yeah. The Sixers lose, but Jared McCain, he is a diamond in the rough for us. He could even go and TikTok dance his way into Rookie of the Year. For how unlucky the Sixers are, we are so lucky that we got Jared in the draft. We really struck gold. And I mean, I don't even think it's an over exaggeration. I mean, you don't see players do this at this age and be this elite. The only thing that hasn't been a positive so far is his defense, and still, yet he's had really good defensive possessions. Like that game against the Hornets where he had to lock down LaMelo in the last play, cause a turnover. And here against the Cavs, he had 34 points, 10 assists, 46% from the field, and he went 6 for 13 from 3. And let's just throw in the fact that he hasn't even missed a free throw yet this season. I think he's taken around 24 free throws, 24 for 24. He's so poised with the ball and calm. When he comes off a pick and roll, he's going to find his spot. He's going to get to the basket or he's going to go to his mid range, which has been automatic. And even last night against one of the best defenses in the league, and with that switch, they would switch Evan Mobley onto him or Jared Allen, and he'd take him to the mid range and shoot over him, and it'd still go in, nothing but net. And I think the one point that he's proven to Nick Nurse, because they've been running him at shooting guard, and I don't think Nick Nurse feels running him at point guard is per se the right call. But he had 10 assists, and I think he's trying to prove that he can run point guard, and I think he'd be pretty nice beside Maxi. And it either he's had assists in multiple ways in the pick and roll with Yabusele, which I like Yabusele in any pick and roll with like everybody, but he's also doing skip passes, driving kicks, all types of ways to get people open. And teams are respecting him early in his career. At least against the Cavs last night, they had to hedge hard and they had to double at certain times high up top of the court. And those doubles aren't to force turnovers, it's to stop him. He had 10 assists and only 3 turnovers. And Maxi hasn't even had a 10 assist game yet this year. And they're both playing with the exact same players. I mean, Jared even did it with us. There's not even Drummond on the court. And back to his creation abilities, he not even only with the ball can get open, he knows how to get open off ball. He knows how to relocate. He knows how to move without the ball. He'll hit you with a V cut in and out, or he'll just get behind you and you'll lose him. And think about the future for the Sixers. If he really pans out to be as good as we're seeing so far, this could be a whole different type of game for Joel. Joel could sit back and focus more on stuff like defense or just being more effective and just being a big body and not having to exert so much on offense or just even in the game in general. And I mean, right now it's the time to play him. If he's going to struggle, let him struggle. Let him play. Let him get this all out the way. If we can play him in the playoffs, if he plays like this in the playoffs, there's so much more to this team. Because I mean, it's crazy. Even against the Cavs, when Jared went out, it was hard to even find offense. And we're saying when a rookie goes out, it's hard to find offense from our team. And I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say that Jared's probably the most NBA ready player in the draft now. For all that Daryl Morey has gotten wrong in his stint as a Sixer, uh this right here is one of the things he for sure got right. And you can say I'm getting ahead of myself, or you could say this is an exaggeration, but rookies don't do this. Even Nick Nurse is coming around to him. Us Sixers fans, we're kind of labeling Nick Nurse Doc Rivers 2.0, but he's finally coming around on Jared McCain, and he said he's a candidate to start now and be in the starting lineup, and I'm all here for it. Let him play with Embiid, let him play with Maxi, let him play with PG, get him in the starting lineup and see what he can really do. And I hope the Sixers do not prematurely trade him or do something that we will regret in the future. Now that I got the Jared Glaze out the way, we can get onto the team now. The Sixers lose 114 to 106 to the Cavs, but for an undermanned Sixers team with no size against the best team in the league at 13 and 0, I believe, that that's a good game. That was actually a really fun game to watch too. And for once, I don't really have too many complaints about certain Sixers players or Nick Nurse. I mean, he had to play certain players because they were really undermanned. Kelly Oubre and Caleb Martin finally found their offense. They combined it for 38 points, and Caleb Martin was actually the cause of a lot of offense early. And he started to really look like what he looked like back in Miami and what we expected to get here, playing defense, being that two-way player, being able to score, and I mean, even creating a shot for himself off the dribble. Now, obviously, we know that's not going to be consistent, and we shouldn't expect him to be able to do that every time or create for other people, but it's nice to see that he can do it for himself when need be. And Kelly Oubre, he finally had himself a really good game, 8 for 14 from the field too. So, I mean, him being efficient is really what we needed to see. If he's efficient early on in the season in those games without Embiid and PG, the games could be a lot different because his gravity with his slashing ability and his just ability to get to the paint and just be a force down there, it really means a lot, and we saw that last year. And against the Cavs, we actually got to see some Reggie Jackson minutes. I mean, we've seen a few Reggie Jackson minutes, but it's not many, and I wouldn't be mad if they kept it that way. But yeah, he had a pretty good game. He had 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 71% from the field, and 3 for 4 from three. He was getting to it. He was creating some shots, just scoring. Him and McCain came in together. They played a lot together. Now, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Reggie Jackson. I know he can score, but that's the thing with Nick Nurse. I think the Sixers really do have great depth at the guard position. I just think that with people like him, Kyle Lowry, and Eric Gordon, you have to know how much they can play, when to play them, and when they're just not on that night. Because we'll get like a 25-minute game from Eric Gordon and he'll put up 0 points. We just got to know when to take him out earlier so that doesn't happen. Like, throw somebody else in, see what they can do. There have been games this year where Eric Gordon comes in, and in the first like 4 minutes of him being in, he scores a good amount of points and brings some offense, but then for the rest of the game, he doesn't do anything, but yet he's still playing. Like Kyle Lowry had 17 minutes, 0 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. Kyle Lowry will play hard for how much he has left in his tank, and he will make the right play most of the times, but he will throw up shots, and he just won't be very effective on the offensive end as a creator. Now, the one thing I also liked about this game, I'm not saying I liked our team being injured and sick, but when I saw Drummond was out, I was excited for Bona that he got to play. Bona got to get his real first minutes against the best team in the league. He got to play 17 minutes, and he had 4 points, 9 rebounds, and a block. And what I loved about Bona is that even though they're cutting to the basket and we're running zone or Darius Garland's coming off a screen wide open, he's always there. He's at the paint. Like, he's letting you know that he's coming to block you. You better get that shot up quick or he's gonna smack it. I already think Bona might have more of a paint presence than Drummond has this year. And I mean, it's nice to see that Bona tied the leading rebounder for the Sixers this game. Even though the Cavs are huge with Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, he's still grabbing boards, playing physical down low. And now, like, to end this off, I mean, we need to get Joel healthy. We need to get PG healthy. We need to get Joel in shape, and we also need to get Maxi healthy, which is crazy that we have this many injuries. But this team has so much promise. I mean, it's rough. We're what, 2-9. Like, this is rough to go through, but there's so much promise. We just gotta make it there. We unfortunately just didn't have the start we wanted, and it definitely is going to affect us in the long run because the seeding is going to be rough, even though other teams in the East are absolutely horrible too. But I mean, I'm usually not very optimistic about the Sixers, but after seeing Jared, man, like he's gonna be good, and that just gives me hope. Because even if he doesn't start, he's coming off the bench. He's doing things that we haven't had since Seth Curry. I mean, and that's Seth Curry. That's just shooting the ball, coming off screen, shooting the ball. Yeah, so I got a little bit of hope for this team, just a little bit. But that's all I got, guys. If you like the content, subscribe, and let's see if we can get 5 likes.